Fellow tennis nerds, I hope all is well. Welcome to this Dunlop CX 200 Tour and 200 Tour 1820 racket review. These are some of the Dunlop CX rackets from the 400 Tour, which is my favorite, to the 200 Tours, and with the 200 smacked in between. The big question of this video is, can you use a 95 square inch racket in today's game? The answer is yes and no. I will get to why towards the end of the video. I also have my buddy Nicky join me for this one. I hope you enjoy it, have a nice day, and don't forget to play some tennis. Fellow tennis nerds, Mr. Nicky Run from Unstrung Customs, he joins me on the channel to review stuff, and that's always fun. We did try the Dunlop CX 400 Tour and the CX 200. You love the 400 Tour. The CX 200 you didn't like because it was too low in swing weight, but when I've customized it, it's improved in terms of feel and performance. But you shouldn't get a racket with lead tape.
No,
So-
exactly. And I mean, I think there's something that they've looked into as well since I've kind of told them. Because it's a shame, because obviously I used to play the 200 when I was a junior and stuff, so I'm like a big fan of the 200 series.
Great series, great, and still good. Still
Yeah. So today we have the 200 Tour and the 200 Tour 1820. So which one you want to start with?
The 1820, I think.
Yes. So it's 315 grams, comes with a leather grip, has, you know, the classic...
Yeah, you feel the leather here.
Exactly,
It's
yeah,
the bevels
the
more.
classic kind of solid constant beam. The only difference between that and the 1619, this is 5 grams lighter.
Yeah.
So this is 310.
Like previous generations, yes.
Exactly, 310 comes with a soft grip, and yeah, 1619 I like it actually because obviously it's a 95 head, so the gaps don't look so big in the 95. So I think, well, hopefully
This you might get a little bit more lift.
exactly. I think this one you really have to hit it. It's strung with 4G black.
Cool.
Both this one is 2220 and this is 2321.
What I can say about this compared, like, I was a big fan of the previous generations, but the first generation was something I used. I really liked the one that was just red all over. That was the previous gen.
The like
And
classic,
very
Anderson
classic,
one.
beautiful feeling, right? Like, no, but the one just before this one, right?
Ah, okay.
What they've done here, I think they've stuck with the same mold, but they stiffen up the layup a little bit, so you're gonna get a bit more power for free. That's what I've read. So this is, you know, our debunking if that's true or not. These rackets tend to
RA65.
these rackets tend to do well with some customization, because you might need a bit more on a 95. You know, 95s need a bit more weight usually to get a bit, you know, free power on the ball, right? But we try them. We'll see where we go from there.
Yep, sounds good.
Vamos.
Yeah, this shot always from that corner, and then you have the mountain in the background.
Yeah, straight from warm-up at the service box, you feel like the nice feel that these rackets have. Like, true to the 200 series from Dunlop, very, very good series from Muscle Weave, Hot Melt. Always had good feel and control. You won't get a lot of power from these or the old ones, but a little bit more power from these thanks to the stiffer layup. But they have maintained quite a nice pocketing in the string bed, dwell time, so the ball stays there a bit despite not being like a noodle, you know, being very flexible. So that was a first impression, even just from hitting the ball like this. But then when you get into longer rallies, you feel like you get some power, but very little generally. Like, you need to provide a lot. Remember that these swing weights were very low, so with some customization, which I will get to later on, it opened up a bit more pace on the ball, because 95 square inch rackets usually need to be around 330 swing weight, in my opinion, to give you something extra and to be able to give you good power as well, because you might need that, especially to make it more stable. And I usually like to add it at 3 and 9 on these types of rackets. So I did customize the rackets, both of them, added weight both in the handle and in the hoop. 3 and 9 and 12, I tried various different ones. My kind of go-to spec for a 95 square inch goes back to the days of the Wilson 6195, which was kind of my first real proper tennis racket. When I was not a beginner, and the liquid metal Radical Tour from Head. Those rackets were, I think, kind of perfect for 95 square inch in many ways, with a bit more stiffness and some decent stability thanks to weight in the head as well. So I try to get them around 350 grams and 31.5 to 32 centimeter balance. That's where I want to have these rackets and run 330 swing weight. I think that's when You really open up some power, some stability, and nice playability. However, you need to work hard with 95 square inch rackets. This is not a racket that's going to give you anything for free. Despite the extra weight, you need to work hard. That's what we're seeing fewer and fewer because the game is getting tougher. And yeah, you need to be able to really get your feet in position, and you need to use your arm a lot and swing. So I think sometimes these rackets can lead to more arm issues than power rackets because you have to work so hard and your arm might overexert itself trying to generate pace on the ball, and especially on like a wet clay court or a windy day, this can be quite draining to play with. However, when you're feeling it, when you're playing well, and maybe you're playing on faster courts, this type of racket is great and fun, and there's no reason why you can't use them. Just know what you're getting into. So I would say for like 90% of players out there, you would do better and enjoy the CX400 Tour, which is still relatively controlled for 100 square inch rackets, like with its not super thick beam and the kind of medium stiffness. It's my favorite. There's also the CX200, which sadly had a really low swing weight for some reason, but that racket with some customization is also very good. Yeah, and a little bit more forgiving, of course, than these rackets. But I still will go with the 400 Tour. And if I really want control, I'd rather go with the 95 than the 98. That's kind of how I usually reason. But this will be the most unforgiving of the rackets. And you need to have a little bit of lead tape, otherwise I think you won't enjoy it as much.
This is alright.
This with weight is good.
Yeah.
But it needs weight. Like sometimes on the off center just...
At the net in stock form, it was lacked some stability and some mass behind the racket. Despite the low swing weight, I must say they were more stable than I thought. Like with the low swing weight, I thought they would be completely unplayable, but they were not. So that I can give to Dunlop. There's definitely good materials and well thought out layup in these rackets, since they have good feeling and some power and stability despite the swing weights. But they played much better at the net with some extra weight added. And I know like many of you don't like adding weight, and the only way I can say this is that these rackets I would not play without weight.
Nice. So this one feels like just a lot sweeter, and when you catch it well, it feels much nicer.
Yeah. I kind of prefer these over the 200. I feel like these are more connected.
Oh yeah, they're much better than the 200.
Yeah. Wow, good.
But it does feel like you're wielding like a mallet.
Yeah.
Even though it's not that heavy.
You need to use a lot of force.
So much power. Because I anyway can play quite chopper grippy, I feel like I can nearly hit a full chopper grip and just...
Yeah, me too.
If he plays you high to the backhand, you're in trouble there.
Yeah, yes, that's the problem with these old school rackets. Like,
Sorry.
As long as you're not playing a guy who hits heavy with a low spin, I think you're fine, you know.
So yeah, I mean, overall the feeling is good, especially when you middle it, feels great. It just needs a little bit stability over the head. Yeah. So I think
3 and 9 or 10 and 2, something like that, you know.
Yeah, and they need to be customized a little bit, just to add a little bit more swing weight, a little bit more stability, because when you hit it off center, just feels like the racket just whoop, dies on you. However, I mean, the feeling for me with the 1820 with the Tour was a little bit cleaner through the middle. I don't know, I've just felt nicer, and the sweet spot weirdly felt slightly bigger.
Yep, I agree.
You know, it didn't.
Weirdly.
Yeah, it didn't kind of. Don't know if it's the extra 5 grams. It just didn't kind of shake as much when you hit it off center. However, playing with that, it felt like even though it's not that heavy racket, it felt like you're playing with a mallet.
Yep.
You know, it feels like you're kind of with a hammer and you can just hammer on it. It's not. If you're like 6'4", serving rockets and playing mainly indoors, great racket. Is it really like a usable racket for, you know, guys our size?
Playing clay courts.
Playing on clay court. If it's a bit damp, heavy clay court, I mean, you can book the physio directly.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
you have to use so much arm and swing to get the pace on the ball.
Which is a shame because the feeling is super nice. Feeling was great. Feeling was really good. Yeah, this one less clean, but you can see when I middle it on the serve, the ball flies. Yeah. You know, it's just that off center slightly. It just tends to twist a little bit. But I just the main thing I like is the feeling in the hand. It feels, because I like the square beam. Just when you hold them, they feel really nice to play with.
Yeah, fantastic to have a good 95. Like for people who like 95s, like maybe old school guys, I think this is great.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, this could be playable customized.
Yep, 100%.
That it's more fun to play with, like kind of not novelty, but kind of novelty-ish. You know, it's a bit like, you know, when they re-released the old 200G and the muscle weave.
Yeah.
It's not really a usable racket these days, but it's fun to hit with.
Yeah.
You know, it feels good, the feedback is great. Is it really like a viable racket at the moment? Probably not, but this one, yeah, could be, with some customizing, bit of stability, bit of extra swing weight, where you can start to really, yeah, I think it's nice. And also the fact that it's 310 gives you more room for a bit of customization. Well, then perhaps actually that would probably be about 310 with a normal grip anyway.
Yeah.
So they probably are the same weight if you took the grips off roughly. But yeah, that's, yeah, all in all, felt good.
Yeah. Good for what it is. I
Yes.
think this is the best review you can give it. Like, it's a very good. If you like 95s,
Yeah.
consider these. These
Yeah,
are
I mean,
like
this was not so dissimilar from the Prestige Tour
No.
Pro.
With some weight, that's a Prestige Tour, and we like
Yeah.
that one.
Yep,
So
yep,
yeah,
yep.
that one is usable still today.
Yes, so yeah, good stuff.
Good.
So during this session, we also tested the updated slinger bag. So review to come, so stay tuned, make sure you subscribe. And it's always good to practice with a ball machine. And yeah, it can put some strain on the arm though with pressureless balls and just this constant swinging, especially with a low powered racket. And I also tried it here against Daniel on a clay court on a very windy day, but with the customization, bringing it up to 330 swing weight, 350 grams approx, and more headlight balance. And then I played much better. I even used it for a set in one of my matches. So it's a good racket for sure. It has a very small audience and target group, but if you like old school racket, why not? You know, if you know what you're getting yourself into with this frame. As I said, some customization is recommended. And for me personally, I will go to the CX 400 Tour and try to tame a little bit of that extra power instead of working so hard with this one. That would be my feeling. But the volleys, the serves, everything was much better with the weight added to the racket. So that's my recommendation. But thanks a lot for watching. Check out the latest and greatest tennis news on tennisnerd.net. And if you want more of this stuff, more personal content, you can join Patreon at patreon.com/tennisnerd. That's it. Have a nice day, and don't forget to play some tennis.